Now, the OS Talk is a talk show about all things OS. We are joined with a very great cast. Today, we're going to be talking about the BN restructure, and it's going to be pretty exciting. Now, we are joined with, I'm going to go down the list as we go. First off, we have Mr. Sergio with us from the GMT. Really cool
Hey guys.
guy. All right. We also have Pishy Fat with us again.
Hello.
All right. I don't think I need to introduce Pishy Fat too much. I mean, you guys know him by now.
I've been on
right?
here like 5 times.
Yeah. I think we might be using you too much.
Maybe.
All right. That being said, though, longtime OS member and super contributor to the modding scene and mapping all over. Been here just about as long as I have. We have Sunny C with us today as well. How you doing, Sunny C?
Hey there, nice to meet you.
It's always great to meet you as well. And he is also going to be here with us for the entirety. We also have last minute guest because we did not know if Yui was going to make it. Spoilers, Yui's here. We also have XR.
Hello there.
All right. And
Good work.
yes, I do. Proud. It's okay. Everybody wants to be the Pishy level. Hello there. But we also have Yui with us as well. Yui being a tier 2 BN as well, here to kind of talk about the restructure and everything like that.
Hey,
how you doing, Yui?
I'm doing pretty fine, thank you.
All right. Now you might have noticed that all of these fine individuals that we are talking today, in one way, shape, or form, are part of the BN team. And then Pishy is, QA team member, kind of gets to oversee how all that works. And we're just gonna kind of freeform talk a little bit today. Also, we'll be taking questions for some extent, not anything too crazy, but we want to talk about the modding system, and it's something that a lot of people have talked about. I know you guys have looked, I don't recommend looking, but I know a lot of people have checked out the Reddit, and there's good things and bad things to be said about the modding system, and I kind of want to go over those. And where do you guys want to start at first? What would be interesting for you guys?
Well, the recent split, I guess.
All right. Yeah, we can kind of go on. No, that's pretty fresh presses.
I mean, we should probably explain what a BN is, because nobody knows
okay.
that probably.
Yeah, that's very
It's
true.
always important to set up content.
Okay, so for our context here, for those that know nothing about the mapping scene, a BN is a Beatmap Nominator. They were largely known as BATs way back in the day. If you haven't, I recommend going and checking out Pishy's video that kind of talks about this as well, because it breaks it down really well. I mean, you do a lot of good context in that video.
Well,
kind of,
only one time period, but yeah.
well, yeah, one time period, so it doesn't really help with the here and now, but it does give you a good look at how things used to go, and then how it slowly started moving to what it is today. But yeah, so a Beatmap Nominator looks over your beatmap. Say, for example, you're new, you want to try making a beatmap. You're more than welcome to, of course, and you'll get what you call modders that will go around and check your map. They'll point out errors, everything like that. And then once you're out of the community level, you start to look for a specialist, and the specialists, I guess you would consider those BNs at this point, and they just go through and find errors and contradictions with the ranking criteria and try to help you make your map the best it can possibly be. And recently, the BN team has seen a lot of restructure. There's been lots of different things that have happened with it. There was introductions of a test, which are pretty common for most people nowadays. But believe it or not, it used to be set on word of mouth alone.
Yeah, well, I mean, when are we going to be looking through? Because, I mean, when Beatmap Nominators sort of started, it was 2014, mid 2014-ish. Before then, it was always the bat, up since it started. So I think going from there is like a good starting point.
Yeah, not a problem. In 2014, the BNG was established because no longer did they want the staff to, well, they wanted people to be able to modify beatmaps, but not connect it with the staff privileges, because those went hand in hand for a long time. And as time went on, it became an issue where, yeah, you'd find a decent modder, but then you'd find problems with how they handled like silences or anything along that. But that being said, I mean, for the most part, the BN has run smoothly. And they've always been just about the beat maps. They no longer have any type of staff position. But here recently, there has been a split, and the split happened not too long ago at all. And I kind of wanted to go over the numbers that led up to that. And then get your guys' feedback on if you think the split was right, what things are going better, have things improved, have things not improved, and go on from there. So that being said, do you want me to go over the raw ranking notes, or would you guys want to talk more about like the BN themselves before we get into any of the reasons for the split? Those days are long and gone. They're not. O's player 111 is dead. He was dead even back then. It's been Andrea forever.
Speed ranking maps in 24 hours isn't possible with the new changes, actually.
Not at all.
In 25 hours, though, that's possible.
That is possible, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go over some of the changes that happened. Obviously, one, like you just said before, there is a time limit now on beat maps. 24 hours after a bubble, correct? It can't
Correct,
be,
yes.
Yeah, it can't be touched after 24 hours. Now,
Well, it can't be qualified.
Qualified.
The point of it is just so like, if BNs think there's an issue with the map, they have a chance to like say, hey, you know, let's not rank this immediately, because that was something that sort of happened, I guess. People would like bubble maps and hearts would come right after, and it would just go into qualified with potential issues that BNs didn't agree with. So that now there's just like a little time window when people can actually check stuff, to be sure.
Yeah.
Some people aren't very happy with.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I mean, quality check wise, that's probably for the best. That doesn't really bother me. Time, like a day should not really hurt anyone at that point. I mean, that's really just kind of covering your own butts, you know, because mistakes do happen. And being able to actually check those and be able to confirm them with another member is something you need. And Hellblind, hopefully this is something that gets you into mapping, because from what I've been told and the way that it's going and the direction they have planned, it does look like it's going to improve stuff. That being said, though, we can kind of look back. I actually do have some paperwork here, guys, that kind of goes into detail on some of the maps. Now, these are all raw numbers. It does not take into consideration game mode or anything like that. But I kind of wanted to talk about this as well and kind of just get a group discussion and get opinions going. But let's go ahead and look here. This is just for standard beat maps alone, actually. I'm wrong on I was wrong on the game mode thing, Pishy, earlier.
Oh, okay.
No, it is for standard. So we'll go back as far as 2016. April and May of 2016. So the 13th of April through the 20th of May, there was 147 maps ranked. This means they went through the qualified section. There were no errors found, and they went through. October 4th to the 11th of November, 151 went through. So there was a small rise, nothing too crazy. Then we notice when we start getting closer to the end of 2016, November 12th through the 19th of December, 112 ranked maps were put through. And now you're going to start to notice important dates that are coming through here, because the 20th of December through the 26th of January, there was 136. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we have BN rounds somewhere around that time frame?
Yeah, I believe so. That's when Battle came in, right? Yeah, so that would have been in the December, January era. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like you can see a peak of activity there as we did get in new BNs. But then it starts to get a little bit more bleak here. The 27th of January through the 5th of March, 124 maps were ranked, which no big deal, still hitting around. The 6th of March to the 12th of April, there was only 111 ranked beat maps. And as of now, from what information I got, mind you, this is about to tell you that this talk should have happened way more sooner than it did. But the 13th of April through the 20th of May, only 91 beat maps were put through. And
double digits.
yes, double digits. And at that time, the number of standard BNs were currently 43. There were tier 1, 26, tier 2, 16, and I'm not gonna lie, Ezek, if you're listening, I apologize, but I have no idea where you're supposed to be. I didn't know if you
He's
were
a tier
1 or
1.
tier 2. Okay, so that would have been 27. I am so sorry, Ezek. I was just a lot of information going on and did not have it. So that is basically what we had there for that. So would you guys say that the decrease in ranked maps is necessarily a bad thing? Have any of you noticed standards or quality improving? And I just want each one of you guys go ahead and go through on your personal opinions and see if we can't get some kind of discussion going.
I think partly the situation improved. I mean, quality-wise, but as many people said in the past, the quantity went down quite greatly. Honestly, I think the main reason for this was because the split was meant to reduce the amount of requests we had, while in reality people kept using all BNs as it was before. So maybe that wasn't the best move yet, or it wasn't dealt well enough yet.
Well, Sergio, you also do GMT stuff, so your stuff's kind of split up. You have a lot of stuff that you help with in the forums on top of being a BN. And so looking on a positive side for this split, has it made it easier for you to do?
Yeah, it gave me even more excuses, but also free time to actually deny some requests that were overloading my schedule. So yeah, in that regard, it improved.
Yeah. So it did make it a little bit easier for you to handle other abilities. That's good. That is a plus on the restructure. Because I'm not here to like completely bash the restructure at all. I just want to get open facts and, you know, honest opinions from each one of the guys we're talking here today and kind of see where everybody stands with the restructure. I'm hoping for the best, but I feel like, I mean, I'll wait to get into my section, obviously, because I want to hear everyone else. But that's good to know that it has made it easier for those that are modding with double tasks. Like, you're also a GMT, so that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Pishy, on the side of a QAT, now that you kind of just oversee things, have you seen this doing more good than bad, or too early to call? What would you say?
First off, did you explain like what tier 1 versus tier 2 is, like what their rights are?
Okay, I did
I'm not sure if you did.
I'm totally assuming that people know.
I think nobody knows, because this is like super esoteric stuff.
Yeah, you're actually kind of right though, because one of the biggest things that get asked is like a lot of game mode, like for Tycho standard, I mean not standard, but Tycho, Catch, and Mania, they think the split is all the way across the bar, and it literally only affects standard. I'm correct in that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this only affects standard. So for those that are asking, like, I could say it how I want to say it, but no one would get that, so I'm not going to, because, I mean, tier 1 and tier 2 to me literally just seems like a map bat split again. But that's whatever. Tier 1 basically is allowed to bubble maps. That's the first step towards qualification. That is what you need. Obviously, we hope you have lots of community mods and stuff done with your map to where it's polished to a point where you want to take it. Okay, apparently I am talking way too quiet, so let me go ahead and get right up on the microphone. There you go, Twitch chat. Anyways, tier 1 is basically your starting gate. They're going to go ahead and look through everything, make sure everything's good, and if it is okay and it reaches their level of quality and follows the ranking criteria, they're allowed to give you a bubble. Now what a tier 2 BN does is they will take that to the next level. They will double check all of the tier 1's work, make sure all the metadata, everything else is exact. If nothing is breaking the ranking criteria, they will put that through, or at least that's how it's supposed to go. And once that happens, then your map is set into a qualified state. It stays there for 7 days, if I'm not mistaken. And once there is no issues brought up within the 7 days, or the issue brought up is deemed to be suggestion and the mapper can ignore it, then your map will go through to the rank section. There, all the scores while it was in qualified will be wiped, and you will be given a freshly ranked beat map with a clean slate for everyone to compete on the scores globally. That a good enough explanation,
Right.
Pidgey?
It is. I forgot the question now, though. So.
What do you mean you forgot the question? Come on.
Good job.
Something about like
Tier 2 versus Tier 1. What are the differences?
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, Hikai. Hold on, Pishy. I'm sorry. Hikai asked, isn't that pretty much how the Bat and Mat worked before? Yeah, basically. Except now we have the Quet, which is that extra level quality. And the question I had asked you, Pishy, was, have you seen improvement from this new system? Is it too early to tell? Or like, how's it been for you as a QAT member?
Well, as a QAT member, I'm basically just being a BN right now. That's a lot of what I do. So, I mean, if you look at my modding activity, it's just the same as any normal BN. I mod stuff, I rank stuff. I'm a BN. But I guess for this Tier 1, Tier 2 thing, a big part of it is like having somewhere to climb to for people who are lower. Since like once you become a BN, it's like you reach the peak, there's nowhere to go. Or you could become a QAT, but there's no clear way to do that. With like Tier 1, Tier 2, there's tests for each one, which is a lot of work. But yeah, there's tests for each one, and it's like it gives you an objective of some sort. Since otherwise you just otherwise you become a BN. It's like, oh, I don't care what I do anymore. I'll just screw around, right? Because I mean, there's with Tier 1, if you're screwing around too much and you're not like learning anything, you're not going to become a Tier 2 BN. You can't, I guess, you can't rank maps, so you can't like you don't have as much abilities. That's basically it.
Yeah,
it makes it more of an interesting system to be a part of, and a big part of that is we need like more Tier 1 BNs for this to actually like work, which is why we have the most recent test for Tier 1. It's like ongoing now, or it just finished, something like that.
Yeah, the incentive there is big, and the only reason why the split hasn't happened between the other game modes is, the teams just aren't as large. Like I said before, we have a 27-16 split right now in the BNs, 16 of them being Tier 2 and 27 being Tier 1.
Right.
And
I think a lot of people were mad about it though, just because like they had all the rights to begin with. Like they could bubble and qualify maps, but now half the guys who failed the test and the other guys who didn't take the test, like Sunny, they couldn't. They just like lost rights. And it was like, oh, this sucks.
Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. And it happens. Speaking of Sunny C, though, for someone who has literally been here just as long as me, you've seen the Bat, you've seen the Mat, you've seen the Bat. I mean, you've seen the Mat back when they weren't even an actual group and they were just a title tag.
Yeah,
they
I
had
saw
Pebbles.
those.
Yeah, so
Couples,
you've been around here just as long as I have. So what do you think overall, like, has the split done well? Is it improving things? You did say that it felt like quality was getting better, but the quantity is down, which isn't exactly a bad thing. But I would kind of rebuttal that. I feel that quality is like still in this really gray area. It's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily good. Like,
so yeah, first of all, I think that BNs are kind of forming the game contents, like they give approvals like in the old term, and things get the nomination from BNs, get the opportunity to get an official rank maps, right? So it's mostly the BNs who decide the quantity of game contents, and so seeing the quantity decreasing consistently isn't really a good thing to see. So I think that's a bad move right now, considering your data. And regarding the qualities, I think well, thinking at the, a few years ago, in my opinion, really bad maps got past the qualified section because things were pretty lucky enough. But right now, maybe the Beatmap qualities aren't really that high because Beatmap qualities aren't just really wholly dependent to the BNs. It's quite related to the mapper themselves. But anyways, really bad maps still have a high opportunity to pass the qualified period because people give feedbacks.
Well, another thing that kind of strikes me weird with it is in terms of quality overall, yes, it has increased, but it's increased to a level where now bad maps are, in my opinion, obviously, I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, but in my opinion, what is getting classified as a bad map nowadays isn't necessarily a bad map. And what I mean by that is, coming from someone, who's been here just as long as I have, one of the main things that we always made sure of is that timing, metadata, everything like that's correct. It's following everything in the ranking criteria, and all these things have been met. Yet, you can do that now. You can meet all those things, and your map can still be just left in the dust.
Yeah, and I kind of think quality is really a fake term until now because, think about it. If there's a map that was mapped really at the past, it can be ranked back then, but not now. And the maps nowadays are really hard to get ranked back then, but easily rankable these days. So I'm not really sure if this is called a quality improvement, but rather the concept of quality being changed.
Yeah, a meta change, more like it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Fishy.
I'm wondering, Sunny, were you part of the first BAT/BN thing, whenever the Quat/BAT split?
I only joined at the 2015 January when it was the last period when the BAT had the red colors.
So you were around when
yes.
the QAT was actively checking maps, right?
Yeah, quads were checking things.
What did you think about quality of maps at that time? 'Cause, there was a group enforcing a certain level of quality.
Quads. I think that quads just basically exist for shits not letting to be passed instead of assuring really high quality because just I don't know the exact expression, but bashing maps, it's really hard thing to do because it's pretty subjective in sometimes, and people are really sensitive to those matters. So I don't know if things were really good back that time too.
I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, I just think having some people looking over all the maps just makes it seem like people have to, or BNs think they have to adhere to a different level of quality, which might have been better. I don't know.
Well, actually, it's just some systems having some pros and cons, and regarding the current split, a lot of people are saying it's the old map battle system, basically with an additional quad, and I think I kind of have to agree with this. And considering the BNs and quad system, which was kind of adopted at the mid 2014 maybe, I think that system was kind of starting back from zero with totally nothing, because the old BAT wasn't really perfect, but it still had some good stuffs in my opinion. But the quad system had completely disregarded those and just started from zero. And since this new tier split system, I think the old things from the past can be get back again.
Yeah, it feels like it got brought to zero to be built back up to the, one of the people on Twitch was asking why we fought so hard to get back to an older system. Nobody fought really hard to get to the system. I don't feel like anyone did. I know that people were complaining about quality and stuff, and I feel like naturally this is the best way to, I mean, like, numbers don't lie. I feel like with this system changed the way it is now to kind of reflect back to older stuff, we're going to see maps kind of rise. I didn't actually check for this 38 days yet, or 37 days, but I feel like the number is going to increase, and I feel like it's going to continue to increase. But that there's going to be the main problem of right now, while that number can increase, we do come across, like what I was saying earlier, maps being totally rankable, but pushed aside. And that's fine because it doesn't fit meta, but at some point you got to draw a line. Like how many hoops does a mapper have to jump through to, you know, get something that they can work with? Like I'm not saying any of the rude mappers who aren't going to listen to the BNs or anything like that, but if you have someone working steadily with a BN, like how much time do you guys give them before you feel like it's a lost cause? But before we get into that one, XR and Yui, I want your guys' thoughts on the previous conversation that we've been having so far.
Well, what part of it? What specific question do you want me to answer?
The improvements over it. Do you feel like since the change it's gotten better, or do you feel like it was better before and it shouldn't have had a split?
So, in my opinion, with the split, I think there was a part where a lot of the tier ones lost motivation because they're basically being told, hey, I'm inadequate, I'm not up to par. And for that reason, like Pishy was saying, when we get new BNs who, basically are under the impression that, this is, a normal level for them, it's not just being demoted, I think we'll definitely see the increase, in performance in activity from everyone. So I think, because what I often saw was a lot of the tier 2 BNs would be the ones who are, bubbling maps, which really isn't how the system is intended to be. So I think we're definitely going to see an improvement in the next coming months, especially with work towards increasing, motivation for BNs and things like that.
What about you, Yui?
I think the split is, well, I personally at first supported the system because I thought it would be a nice addition, like we being split into different tiers depending on your modding skills. Mm-hmm. At first it sounded like a very good idea, but once the split happened, those BNs who didn't get tier 1 started getting really demotivated. A lot of people actually quit the BNG because they thought that they weren't capable.
You mean
of
tier
modding.
2?
No. Wait. Wait a second. We are not inactive. Hey.
Nope.
Oh my god.
It's
anyway,
okay.
so people started quitting the game, being inactive. Tier 1 is talking about, by the way. So yeah, now we are we now found a kind of solution, let's say, to I'm not sure if this is a question for later on, but a reward system where we get things if we keep enough activity.
Although we don't know what we get yet.
Not yet.
Is it not public?
It's not public, but I mean, didn't we have the announcement? I mean,
yeah, it is public.
Am I allowed to share that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Or it's not public, is in the word.
If it's not on public eyes, guys, then let's not have ban hammers hitting us down.
We gotta keep our NSA type secrets safe. Come on.
Also, I have some kind of disheartening news, guys. So Mango went ahead and was doing some math work for us while we were talking. And right now, so if we do a projection of ranked beat maps right now, only 33 standard beat maps have been ranked from the 21st of May to today, which is a period of 18 days, which is half of 37.
Well,
so if we project that out,
don't project that out. That's a problem.
It should be a secret.
I mean, while that's
I don't know if we're getting into
accurate and all, I mean, I would like to just point out, I mean, there's 52 maps in qualified at the moment, so
it's going to be different.
Well, it's being changed.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just talking standard only, and I'm not trying to say it's bad that there's not that many maps coming through either. I'm just going strictly off numbers, and mind you, this isn't taking into consideration like maps that have been qualified or disqualified. It's just from moving to qualified to ranked. So it's not going into saying that they're not doing work at all, because obviously there's going to be problem maps where you find disqualification, and then that's going to take time to get fixed and stuff like that too. So, but the projection there yeah, there's no telling though, in all honesty.
But there is.
Yeah, there is, but I mean, I don't want to say that it's gonna get even lower, because like,
No, not that. What do you know about the subdivision stuff, if anything? Nothing. Okay.
No, nothing.
Well, I don't know how much I can say about it, because it's not like.
Well,
it's
then
not like
don't say
something-
anything. Don't say anything then. If it's something that we can't, let's not do that. We can
It's
just
something
keep on
every
talking.
BN has access to.
Yeah,
I think every BN knows about it.
every BN. But
Yeah.
if it's just BN access, we'll keep it at BN access. We only want to talk about stuff that's public and it's already been done, and what we think about what is happening now, not
Then-
what might happen.
Yeah, but like
How do you
I don't
explain?
think this is an actual secret. Like there is no.
Yeah,
secret.
there
It's
was
just-
no
yeah.
there's no actual like rule or anyone saying, hey, don't tell your friends about this. So
Yeah.
Okay.
it should be fine to talk about. If you mind, can I get a rundown on it?
Go for it.
All right. So
you're
basically,
Maybe.
all right. Well, if the cops start knocking on my door, I'll stop.
Alright.
So in general, there's a sort of goal right now to motivate BNs to have more, incentive towards being a BN and working hard and just being willing to work with other people. So the idea is to put BNs into teams and effectively rate their activity and what they do to improve the game. Measuring things from like how many new mappers are they helping getting their maps ranked, measuring things
Yeah.
like how many mods are they doing, how many how many icons do they place.
This
So-
sounds incredibly familiar.
It does, yes.
Incredibly familiar.
Well, it's a little different though. It's not like the.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't remember. I don't know if you're talking about like the really old bat ranking, or if you're talking about the more recent one.
No, I'm not talking about the super ancient bat ranking, because the super ancient bat ranking was literally just how many maps can you rank? Go.
Okay.
Like,
It's
that's
not
all
quite
that
like
was. I feel like, but no, the putting people into groups and stuff, that's something that has happened before as well. We used to pair bats together. That's how we got our timing bats. That was a whole division that was like Lobidos, Doomsday, and who was the other? There was usually teams of 3. I got stuck with Lardo, Jar Jar Jacob, and myself. We were a team of 3
Oh,
bats. Yeah. Sonny C knows what I'm
sounds
talking
familiar.
about. Yeah, sounds familiar.
Really
Like,
familiar.
yeah, so like we definitely got stuck into groups back then, and
Oh, I see.
it does work. I'm not gonna lie, that actually makes me really happy. That's probably one of the best things you guys can do, because working together does work. It's a whole lot easier when you've got a group of people that you can talk to, and they're trying to do the same thing you're doing. At the end of the day, they want to make this guy's map passable or acceptable so they can enjoy it and share it with their friends.
Yeah, so we're not in groups of 3, we're in groups of like 5, I think.
5
each
Oh,
of
so it's
us.
a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5, 4.
And it'll be even bigger when new BNs come in with the latest test. But
Yeah,
basically,
anyway.
instead of the old like scoring system was based on individuals, now it's based on like your whole group gets a certain score.
That's cool.
So
And also, it's pretty meaningful since grouping BNs or making them work as a team has been a really old notion that has gone pretty along with the BAT. It's pretty meaningful, I think, personally.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I think it'll help with is oftentimes you see a map or find some BN who will mod their map and maybe bubble it, and then they just get stuck. And by having a team, what we hope to do is have the system or the scoring system that kind of rates each BN team, motivate them to work on each other's bubbles and on each other's icons to actually fully get mappers maps to the ranked status. And
Yeah, so it
none of
creates a
this.
workflow.
Yeah, and none of this system is penalizing to teams that underperform, but it really just seeks to reward those that do well.
Yeah.
Gets happy. Perfect.
And I think that's great. Because we used to do things back in the day, with teams and stuff. We'd have like, now you guys are gonna have detailed forms, but we do like an end of the month roundup, and we'd like post in the lounge like, so and so, like Andrea ranked 220 maps this month. Lardo ranked 146.
220 maps.
Oh,
In a
dude.
month.
What the?
Incredible performance, better than all of BNG combined.
Dude,
How
used
did
to
you guys
rank,
do it?
I used to rank like 300 to 400 maps a month. No problem. Me and
All right,
Andrea were fighting for
hold on.
number one.
You were checking 10 maps a month,
A day.
Like
ranking
okay,
all of. I'm sorry, a day.
Yes, in a day.
I'm gonna need to request that you get a life.
Well, see, back then it wasn't nearly as convoluted as it was now either. Like, you gotta give me credit on that.
I mean, I
we
don't
still looked
deny.
for-
I imagine the check was very similar to, hey, is it timed?
Yeah, is it timed?
That's
is
a
it,
rank.
Is it
Is there any
following all
unstamped
the
object in AM on it?
AI
Yeah.
mode says something.
Hey, we didn't use iMod back then. What are you guys talking
Oh.
about? iMod didn't even exist.
Oh.
Like,
I'm talking about
We were-
2010s and 11s.
well, yeah, 2010. I wouldn't even say it was a tryhard back then. Like Twitch chat saying I'm a tryhard for doing that. It really wasn't as crazy as it was now. You'd have someone come up and they'd be like, "Hey, can you look at my map?" You'd go through it. You'd make sure there's no unsnapped objects. You'd make sure that the storyboard isn't using a whole bunch of resources. Make sure the load's not there. Check your metadata, everything like that. Make sure all the notes are in proper order. Look for missing hit sounds, and then you were done. Like, you didn't really critique so much on patterns. I will say that much. If there's one thing we did not do as much, we did not critique people on patterns too much. That's why a lot of the older maps have stuff that's hidden under stuff, or just really awkward, hard to play patterns. That was just something that kind of happened back in the day.
And also back in the days, there at the Beatmap list, there was something like ranked by somebody.
Mhm.
That kind of feature existed, which got deleted after some change. But that
I think
was
they're
one
trying to
of-
bring that back though, Sonny.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, there is.
The
I
modding
noticed-
V2.
I noticed
So-
in mine
Oh.
V2.
If it was ranked by Fat, the Beatmap list says ranked by Fat. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, some features existed.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like a nod to the modder, like, thank you, you made
Yeah,
this
and-
possible.
back at then, I really think that kind of things were like bats were being their works are being known by the game and being treated. But when those are all gone, it didn't really felt like being recognized. You know?
Yeah, I can see that. I would like to see that back again, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be a great idea. Was that only based off of basically who hearted it, or whoever placed the final icon and actually qualified it?
Who hearted it? Whoever
Yeah.
places the final icon on it. Yeah.
So like
So
7
more
maps. in a
more
row was
motivation for being a
by
tier
that.
2 BN. Awesome, I love it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's actually coming back, but I feel like it's going to be even more set up in the sense that it will show who nominated it and who qualified it at this point. I
Yeah.
think that's the plan for it at least.
So like when really hard maps were ranked, people like who was the BA2 ranked this, and they just have to check that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
like,
they see who qualified time freeze. They'd be like, all right, I'm gonna need to have a talk with you.
Yeah, and a lot of it was because of that exact point. Like, I need to have a talk with you. Like, a lot of people were worried that it was like singling people out, but I want to know where along the line it got so serious. Like,
Probably no one knows. I mean, it just went with the flow.
I
People
honestly,
started
I
complaining.
think the problem, PPV2. That's the problem. It all traces back.
Oh, your maps, Xer?
Yeah. Hey. Can we save this for later?
shots fired.
Yes.
But I don't know. Performance points, in a sense, maybe. I feel like uncapping the stars had a really big hit to it. In all honesty, I mean, yeah, it blossomed creativity, which is amazing, and we wouldn't see half the crap we see on Aspire without it. But I feel like, cause see, back then everything was 5-starred. If you went outside of like the ranking criteria, Yeah, I am kind of diving into ancient stuff, but these are things that thanks, Magnemizer, jerk. These are things that like I feel contributed to it, because like, yes, 5-star's been gone forever, but PPV2 isn't a sole contributor, because if it was just for that, you'd still have people like mapping only that. There's still a creative aspect to OS, it's just smaller than it was before.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it streamlined the conception of what is okay. And so, you know, when you see things that vary, you know, there's a lot less motivation for, you know, or
there's a lot less acceptingness towards it.
Exactly, yeah. It becomes, you know, people really either want it one way or they want it. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily the BN's fault for the way they're nominating, or if it's just that we've evolved so much from where we were, where we, you know, everything has to have perfect flow, it has to have perfect, you know, aesthetics, all these sorts of things. Whereas before, it just didn't matter as much because, you know, it was also a smaller game. I think that's another one. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it becomes a larger problem because we got so big. But I still don't feel like, I feel you're gonna find enjoyment where you find it. It doesn't have to be the best map in the world to find enjoyment. It doesn't have to be the greatest map. But I also understand that there are people that enjoy it strictly for the competitiveness. And those people are gods, like legends usually. They're way better playing this game than I am. But I don't think it's cool that like you can have a completely rankable map right now and it not be put through due to it just not being good enough. There's no actual, like, I feel that there should be a solid line somewhere where it's like, go ahead.
The thing is, you know, it's not so much that there's a solid line. It's just that, you know, if your map may be questionable or difficult to rank, what you're basically doing is trying to find the BN whose standards are literally low enough that they will nominate your map. And nowadays, with, you know, the tier 2 system, that just makes it even harder for those types of mappers. So really, I think it encourages better quality, because realistically, if most BNs aren't interested in checking the map or aren't interested in qualifying it, it may lack quality. And that's just my opinion. Sure, there are things like creativity and all this, you know, oh, it's subjective, but nominators are evaluating the map on their subjective opinion. And if the majority of, you know, these people's subjective opinion says that this isn't okay, then it probably isn't.
Yeah, but you can't sit there and say that subjectively, like, if all the rules are being followed, then no longer is an opinion. Isn't it more just a pushing towards that same meta like we were talking about earlier?
I mean, I can make a map that is technically rankable and it would be complete garbage still.
Yeah, that's true too. You can make technically rankable maps that are like...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, I understand that, but like, I don't know. It's weird, because I'm not saying that all maps should be rankable, obviously, because you could do 1-1s and technically be rankable through the whole thing, 1-1s and flat sliders, and no one's gonna want to rank that. But I'm talking about when like you get put into a situation where you're not doing something that follows the meta, but you're still following the rules. Where's the line between this is actually quality or this is just what I want to see?
So like, quality isn't really highly related to the meta, I think.
No, it's not.
Meta is just a technical choice, and quality is somewhat related to how the map is reflecting the song, in my opinion. So reflecting the song can be done in several metas, and technical choices have kind of less effective quality.
Sunny's maps are very non-meta, but he can still get stuff ranked, and like everyone can recognize. Oh yeah,
come on, Fishy, we all know that's because he's a BN. Clearly, there's no other possible way.
Oh, here it goes.
No, but Sunny makes good maps.
Yeah.
Weird that my maps are no longer.
Don't worry, Sonny. That wasn't my truth.
Oops.
Yeah. We have tried to we've tried to actually boost up the level a little bit, but No, 2015 versus 2017, where ranked was essentially curated content to a relatively loose base level, ephemeral. I see what you're getting at there, and I feel like it's kind of set the same way, except now instead of it being, like and mind you, I might just be bad now, which is totally okay, but it just shocks me, like, not to get pointers on my maps. I'll listen to those. It just shocks me that they're like, "You're insane isn't insane enough." And it's
What?
like,
What?
yeah.
I don't think
had
I've
that.
ever told
No,
a person that.
the problem nowadays is with the extra difficulties. It's just insane
Dude.
with more spacing. That's
Oh my god,
Yeah.
please don't
The
please
real
don't get
reason.
me started
Are we
on
bringing up My
don't get
Hero
me started on-
flashbacks? Here we go.
Absolutely.
don't get me
Here
started
we
on
go.
extra difficulties. I don't even want to get started on extra difficulties. That's a whole can of worms that we could have an entire OS talk about in its own
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Like, extra difficulties are gross.
Maybe
Now there
you.
is ways you could do it. No, there's
You're
ways you can do
gross.
extra difficulties and just be great. I know I'm gross. It's okay. But I'm just saying, like, there's ways you could do extra difficulties, but like I think that was you, your XR was saying, a lot of them just feel like legit, let me increase spacing by 1.5.
Yeah,
and-
that definitely is a problem. It's because most people, when they see an extra difficulty, they want to map, you know, the hardest thing possible. But when you're listening to a calm piano track and you got cross screen jumps, you know, it's a little much.
Oh god, I knew that was coming. Anyways, regardless of that, they want to know if you guys will be able to, because people are asking about your team questions now. They want to know if they'll be able to. Are you guys going to be able to make your own team, or is it going to be assigned to you? And can you pass? And if some of you are going to pass into tier 2, they're just curious, but I doubt you can go into any much of that.
The BNs don't choose their own teams. That's
Okay, I didn't think so.
But I mean, the people who choose the teams, it's like the QATs pretty much choose their own teams, sort of. There's a process. I don't want to get into it, but
No problem.
they try to like choose people who will work together at least. But, like,
So
that's why ZXR's team is like that certain group of people.
all right.
Yo,
Well,
Six
are you,
hundred,
are
that's
you
what I mean.
are you trying to say something right now?
if the,
I mean- You have very similar mindsets.
if they work well together though, and it promotes more productivity, then why not?
Well,
Yeah, Yui, do you have any thoughts on that?
No.
I want to get back to whatever Mango said about like some statistics and you projecting stuff.
yeah,
What,
sure.
what were the numbers there exactly?
Okay, so you want to know the raw numbers on it?
Yeah.
That I can do. Hold on to your butts. No, so so far 33 standard beat maps have been ranked from the 21st of May to today. That's a period of 18 days, which is half of 37. So if you projected that we get half of that again, it'll be roughly around 70 to 75 beat maps ranked about the time we reach the next 37 days. But there's also 31 in qualified at this moment for standard alone.
Yeah. So the reason why that happened is because like this subdivision sort of thing, it really only took place starting June 1st.
Yes.
Meaning people started doing a bunch of nominations on June 1st.
Yeah, it
And-
looks like it really lit a fire under people's
Yeah.
butt if there's 31
Yeah.
in qualified.
Which is why that projection will not happen at all.
Yeah, you guys are gonna knock it out the park.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and you know that's more than we can really hope for, dude. If we kill what we did last year around this time, then we're doing good, and things are moving proper. And you know, we got about 10 minutes here, guys, before we wrap up. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on, or do you want to just kind of go over conversations?
I want to say something. A lot of people, I think, are thinking that if they get their maps bubbled by the tier 1 BNs, they will have another struggle to get a tier 2 BN. So I think that was the most people worrying about this new system. But as one of the old generation users, as an ordinary mapper back then, I can just get a bubble from a mat and then just expect getting a further process from an extra bed. So I can just get my bubble and wait without seeking beds, so they will just randomly check my map. And maybe if this system gets more stabilized, I think that kind of good stuff at the back, I felt that was good, can be applied also now, because
That's like the thing that's got me the most calm right now, Sonny. In all honesty, is like it looks like it's trying to go for something that we had in the past, and we know that works. We've seen it work before, and
and then that just gone.
Yeah, and then by what
It's a
Pishy's
little
already
sad.
saying, there's 31 in qualified. Like it definitely showing that it is going to increase workflow. But the one thing
and-
that, like you said, they might randomly check, and that is great because the fact that there's a possibility for random checks. All of you right now, I know you're BNs, but how often do you I'm not sure if the tier split will last forever, but if it goes as well as it's going right now, I can only assume that it'll continue to go this way. But all of you right now, did you guys think at any point during 2016 you could get a map looked at without having to ask anyone?
Yes.
Not really.
No.
Yes.
I do that all the time. Like half
I
my
look
maps are
pushy
like that.
fat maps.
Absolutely not. Are you insane?
Okay,
I also
so
wasn't a BN back then,
it's
so
the
maybe
only
that's
Pishy because Pishy's famous. So
Yeah.
famous fat over here, just
It works.
not having to have anybody go ask anybody anything. They're just like, hey buddy, I just want to give you a mod.
Sunny has done that like 3 times for me.
Yeah.
Sonny, you're not helping.
What?
I'm joking.
I kinda enjoyed random checking maps.
That is one thing that I still like to do too. I guess that might be an old person thing, but like
Yeah, that
all the
was
other
like-
new guys. Go ahead.
A lot of old people kind of enjoy doing random mods, and some people still do, but seeing that from someone doing random checks as a BN is no longer something common, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a dying breed if people are doing it.
Yeah, it's an old generation stuff.
Yeah, really, like, we're kind of just wrapping up here, but Mango brings up something that I like to hear on you guys' side. Fishy, you can kind of give up a little bit of information on that. The Taiko community feels like there's not enough communication between their Quat and BN. Would you say that's the same way for Standard?
Well,
Really.
not now at least.
Yeah,
'cause
especially
I
now with the
communicate-
teams.
Yeah, I communicate with my team of BNs like every day. Though
Yeah.
I don't know how much they're taking it because only like 3 of them actually respond to me. But the other 2, maybe they're looking at it. I don't know. Oh,
Excuse me, guys, but who plays Taiko?
yeah.
Yo,
Come on, guys.
are we talking about mini games here now? I
The
thought we were-
mini game
I
is.
thought we were talking about the big boys.
Oh my god.
Oh, geez.
So
Chicken
anyways,
Bible, is there any ETA on mapping V2 for CTB? No. That's just the simple answer there. I gotta be honest with you. Nope. There is no ETA that I know of. Anyways, though. Do an OS talk. I'm sure you'll have more than 430 viewers if you do an OS talk on PP mapping. Well,
Dude,
I
one
don't
day.
know how to.
Come on, call
I
me
don't
in
know
on
how
that
to.
one.
Dude, I don't
I-
know how to PP map, so I
Well,
wouldn't.
Don't worry.
I never-
I'll
Six are
teach
an
you.
expert.
I'll teach you. I'm an
You're gonna-
expert. I know everything about this stupid system.
Oh,
You're
no.
gonna teach me
Oh.
how to performance point map. I don't think I want to do that.
Not that I'm saying that I do that. Don't worry, OS
Okay.
community. I'm not a toxic member. I'm just saying I know how to. And that's why I know that I'm not doing it to the extent that I could be. See, look, positives. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
See, Hobbs, I had no idea those were excellent PP. I don't add double time to stuff, so I can't really say that I know how to performance point map at all.
Also, Hobbs, come on. That was before that system was even out. At least the old
Yeah.
ones were.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you can't say that I know what I'm doing when I clearly didn't. I was just making beat maps for the fun of it. dirty DT farmer.
Oh.
Oh man. Anyways, probably not for a long time. I'm still pretty salty about trying to get my map set up through modding V2, and then it got hit with the roadblock of I need to wait on
Naitoshi.
like staff. No, I need to wait on staff to fix it. There's
Oh,
nothing
really?
that the BN can do right now. Yeah.
All right.
It got locked. It got locked when I tried to remove a guest difficulty. It was like, nope, can't do it. It won't let me change it. It won't let me upload it. Won't let me make any changes to it whatsoever. So even if a BN was like, hey man, I modded your map for you. All you got to do is make these changes. We can get it ranked, because that happened to me a couple days ago, and I was so happy. And then I remembered. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, no, I can't, because it's broken.
Too bad.
It's okay. I might pick up something just to play around with it, because I can't not be in the editor for too long, or I really won't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm gonna have to get XR, Yui, and Pishy to teach me how to new map. You guys, once a week, just, give me some pointers.
All right. So first thing, you put the note in the corner, and then you put the other note in the other corner. There
But
you
I
go.
already do that. I do that
Well,
so much.
Clearly, you're not doing it well.
I know. I guess I'm not doing it well. Anyways, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Now, if you know about our Discord and you've joined our Discord and you're here talking with us, they're going to. Well, probably not Sunny, because Sunny needs to go to sleep. It is super late for Sunny. But we're gonna go ahead and cut it here. And if you want to ask them any questions, they might be able to stay for 15 minutes. You can type them, you can voice them if you want. We do have voice chat in here. You can come and hang out with us for a little bit. But I do want to thank all you guys coming out for having this discussion. Bottom line, though, from each and every one of you, do you think this change is better for the community or not good for the community? Like, I just want honest opinions. I don't care if it's yes or no. I'm saying right now, I'm not sure. It's looking better, but there's still things like the backwardsness with tier 2 to tier 1, and tier 2 can do the same stuff that tier 1 can. Then why would a tier 1 do why would a tier 2 do what a tier 1 does? But that's just mindless griping and complaining. But I'm undecided, but I'm hopeful, very hopeful.
I'd say the tier stuff I'm very neutral on. The subdivisions, I like those. Those are fun for me.
Ideally,
Yeah.
ideally yes. But let's stay neutral too.
All right. Well, I think one of the problems that might result with this whole split and how it's kind of seen as a neutral thing is just the fact that since there were only I think of the 16 tier 2 that actually made it into the tier 2 section.
18. But...
Yeah, 18 or whatever. Only Yui was the one who actually originally passed the qualifications that were originally set to be a tier 2 BN, because we had to drop the score so much just so we had enough people for it. So I think in the future, when people start learning really what it takes to be a tier 2 BN, there will be it'll be a better system altogether, especially because it gives more room for people to improve and people to stay motivated. So I think it's a yes from me.
All right, that's good to hear. All right, before we wrap this up, Deadbeat, you got anything to say, or you just want to keep this one quiet for you? You pop on here for like 2 seconds? Nope. Nope, there's a nope. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. Thanks to everybody. We love you, Deadbeat. And remember, guys, Rhythm's only a click away, and we'll see you guys next time.